Hi, you're listening to Linda Pinizzato at the Condo Expert. I'm speaking with Randy Lippert, the professor at the University of Windsor. He is actively involved in researching information and developing a white paper with respect to condominiums. You know, Randy, I mentioned quickly, there's new developments of, energy efficiency. For instance, okay, I'll give you one right off the top of my mind. Mm-hmm. We talk about electric cars. Mm-hmm. We see that out there, that is the wave of the future. Mm-hmm. Now, when new construction is out there and what's going to happen? People are going to buy electric cars and go downstairs in the underground in condominium buildings and plug in their electric cars. Can you imagine what that's going to do to the maintenance fees of hydro in that building? And who's paying for that? Mm-hmm, yeah. Like even the owners that don't have an electric car. I think what I'm thinking here is that when you do your research, is it possible, kind of like the puzzle parking, it's a whole new concept. Years ago, there was something called a reverse osmosis. Mm-hmm. I was involved in a building that had this, and nobody knew really even what it was, much less know how to service it. Eventually, it just got completely shut down because it was the price tag on it to repair and to do any kind of maintenance was insane. Mm-hmm. So it's wonderful to have all these wonderful ideas and to come out with all this new technology and do this and retrofit that. But I guess the concern I have is while all these designs are going on, is anybody taking a look of what the actual cost will be for maintenance and repair as time moves forward?
That's, something that has to be considered in the reserve fund, studies and, is it being considered? And you're right. I mean, a lot of the gadgets look great, when you first, buy a condo and these are in place, but wow, are there going to be people around in 10 years who even know what the technology is about? Are they going to have the ability? And a lot of people know that in, with the gadgets they buy for their own homes, that they have a certain lifespan. And the trouble is that, you could be faced with, a serious, assessment as a consequence, simply because someone didn't have the foresight to consider, whether this technology, and it's hard to know as well, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, certainly. I mean, I also do research in security, and, we see the same thing, just with your average surveillance camera, for example, the move from analog to digital, that's great. They're set up and you're now obligated to, keep them running. The board is, but what's it going to cost?
Well, exactly. And then there's this other side of things too, which is called proprietary rights. And if you could check into that would be, you'd be a genius. Like you're a genius anyway, but well, that's even more that, so. Yeah. I'm telling you, proprietary rights, for instance, elevator companies have proprietary rights. They force the condo corporation to only use their services on repair. Then you've got even cooling systems out there, heating systems out there, electrical. I mean, there's just so many different things in condominiums that forces the condo corporation to literally, they can't go out there and tender out a contract. Mm-hmm. Okay, so, I guess that the Competition Bureau, I don't know if this would be something that they should actually bring into play, because why is it that these products are being brought into a condominium and the condominium corporation cannot tender out service performance work or do any maintenance on certain items in that condominium because it's territorial?
Yeah, it's interesting because if it was a municipality, you wouldn't have that situation. And, a lot of the research, compares condo arrangements with municipalities increasingly anyway. Yeah, and so that's, a good question. I mean, these are things that, I need to hear from, board members, condo owners. The condo owners we've spoken to, have some insight into those things, but a lot of them don't. And actually quite surprised about how separated they are from their boards and really unaware of, what is basically contributing to the increases in their, their fees, and just generally kind of, I don't want to say apathetic, but just sort of, happy, but you kind of wonder if you dug a little bit beneath the surface, whether maybe they shouldn't be that happy and should be, really, join an organization like yours and getting the information and then asking their board to, sort of account. to a greater extent. But also, it'd be great to hear from board members and hear about what they think about some of these things, some of these important issues.
Well, you're 100% right, because the only way that collectively, it's a collective type of way to bring everyone together, bring everyone to the plate, and take a look at all the different variables that could be a concern. And I think the big thing is you have to take a look at whether or not there's a conflict of interest. I mean, I think one of the biggest concerns that we have is that, there's so much that can be learned from service-related trades as far as their experience and so on. We just have to find out make sure that everybody's working for that same end goal. Mm-hmm. And I think that the end goal is the important part of this. Funny enough, when I was looking at, I know that all of the findings that have been happening so far, a lot of times people relate, like condo owners think, when you ask them a question, how do you like your condo? Mm-hmm. All of a sudden they only think about their unit. Mm-hmm. They think about their unit and they say, oh, it's great. And then they think about their furniture and their decorating. For some reason, they don't really answer that with their building in mind.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you have to dig deeper. We found when we're asking them questions, definitely. And I think that is the initial reaction.
Yeah, I don't understand it. So they almost forget, like they don't realize how much value is in their building, so they only put it towards their unit. Mm-hmm. But the problem is that in order for their building to do well, they need to keep those maintenance fees down. And in order for them to keep the maintenance fees down, they need to be sure that the contracts and all of the expenses that are going out during that year are accountable.
Yes, definitely. And I mean, I think, just from my limited experience in speaking to the people I've spoken with so far, I mean, I think there is a general sort of lack of knowledge, just knowing even how to, get that information, or, the idea of running for the board is, not really, on their radar, and, they know about the AGM, and, that's not much more beyond that. So, yeah, I mean, I think that, again, like through your association and generally, there's definitely room for people to become more, vigilant, especially if they're wondering, why their fees are going up, or even why their fees are at the level that they're at. Well,
they've got to ask questions. Yeah, but you know what? I'm going to bring you in, I'm going to bring you into a condo building that is, somewhat in disarray right now, and they're going to be having an AGM. And when they do, what you're going to find is that people are scared to death. Mm. They won't make a comment because all of a sudden they figure that they're going to be ostracized. So there's a lot of fear in those rooms, and there shouldn't be any fear.
Right.
There shouldn't be any fear.
No, that's right.
None.
I mean, yeah,
they're
that's
asking a question. If they can't get an answer, there's something wrong.
Yeah. No more than I'll just, related to the municipality again, no more than you should feel fear about, going to a council meeting and raising a question. Except in some cases, there's more at stake with the condo, because that's your investment and so on, right? Right,
exactly. So one thing is that if you're thinking of other ideas too, is that the reserve funds. If there's any way that you can, in your whole studying, come to terms with refurbishments, that is important. Extremely important. Like, I'll give you a for instance, okay? Mm-hmm. The reserve funds have regulations as far as how much money can be used in what period of time, and has to be in accordance with the reserve fund study.
Okay.
So, for instance, if you know of a building and they're all in line with their study and everything else, and they've determined that they can spend $500,000 now on refurbishing the hallway, for instance. Okay, that's great. The property manager knows that they can spend $500,000 because that's what's slated. And of course, the board hopefully don't want to spend the whole $500,000 and are out there tendering contracts. The problem is right now is that there's nothing out there. There's no template of cost, price per square foot, materials, anything. Basically, three designers will walk in the door, meet with the board, sell themselves about what fantastic job they can do. They don't even tell you who they're going to contract. They certainly don't tell you what the cost of the material is going to be. But they do tell you that, lo and behold, the cost will be $499,000. Mm-hmm. Now, is that market value? That's the interesting part. So there has to be a research done on that because, unfortunately, they're not regulated. So property managers are not regulated.
Right.
These designers and the contractors that are completing these work, that's all being paid by the reserve fund. How does everybody know that? And the board, unless they're construction savvy, they really won't know whether they're getting a good deal or not. However, the quotations industry says that $500,000 is the going rate for maybe a 14-story building. That's ludicrous. You could build a whole house. Actually, you probably build two houses. You take out the land out of the picture. You've only got the house that you're building.
I mean, that's tough. Yeah. And I mean, there's so much responsibility on the board, the voluntary board that, is supposed to be almost superhuman in terms of knowing these different areas and all these different service providers.
Well, that's the thing. And it's hard. It's hard for them. So they don't have any resource right now to obtain this information. So they put a lot of trust into the property management company. But, again, I mean, we've looked at, like on the Condo Act reviews, and I'm sure you've looked at it all as well. We see forgeries on proxies. We see, kickbacks. We're seeing so many different things that, you sit back and you just think, okay, fine, now what? Where do we go from here? So I would imagine like all the other cities and provinces. I mean, I know that Vancouver had that, and I know that Alberta, they're going to be implementing a very strict governance of licensing. So, I think that when all of that comes together, it's really going to be interesting to see where we're all going in the next year.
Yeah, no, definitely. And, I guess the time has come. I mean, when I first started looking at condos, back in, I think it was 2006, that was what I heard from people as well was, property managers aren't licensed. I mean, I heard that consistently, and why aren't they? And, that's already 7 years ago. And I imagine, because they were talking about it then, that this was an issue for a while before that. So, it will be interesting to see what happens in that respect. But also, I guess, more generally, the regulation and the change in the legislation. And I mean, for me to, more in terms of academic interest, it will be interesting to see how it compares to some of the U.S. states that in some cases have, quite strict regulation that they brought on board, relative to Ontario. So
how long do you expect your review to take?
Well, it's a study that it has a 3 to 4 year window. So like academics, everything moves at a snail's pace. And it's supposed to take about that long. But I mean, data collection that is interviewing people, primarily is expected to take, probably the next 2 years, I guess, once we finish New York. So I'm, really eager to speak with people, condo owners and condo board members, even if, past or present, at least, in the recent past. That is really what's going to drive the study. And, the more people I can speak with, the better the study will be.
Well, then I've got to give you the shout out. Could you tell our audience where you can be reached and how they can get a hold of you in order for them to participate? Because this is important.
Okay, absolutely. I mean, one thing they can do is they can email me at condostudy, which is one word, at uwindsor.ca. And maybe Linda at some point might put that up on her website.
Oh, no, absolutely. Oh, no, we're going to do that.
There's also a Facebook page, and maybe one of the most rudimentary Facebook pages you'll ever encounter. But it's Condo Study, 2 words, and you could message me there as well. And then finally, you could call me at 519-253-3000, extension 3496. And just, one of the things I wanted to say is that the interviews are completely confidential. That's sacred ground where academics are concerned. It is, 100%, guaranteed. The only person that will ever know, what building you're from or your name would be me and possibly one graduate research assistant. And then upon completion of the data collection, that gets destroyed. Simply because it's not really that of that much interest to us. It's more, the views of a condo owner as opposed to Joe Smith or what have you. And what you would get for your participation is a copy of the report, We'll probably have like a mini report for participants to sort of look at, as well as obviously eventually a more extensive white paper and academic journal articles. So we'll definitely make that available to you. And then there's also a draw for a $250 Amazon card, just so that you feel like you might get something beyond the pleasure of talking with a graduate student or myself during the interview. And the interview is only, it's around 30 minutes, but we're completely open. If you want to tell us more of your stories of being an owner, being on a board, and so on, then of course we're good listeners, and we'd be happy to hear from you.
So are you strictly gearing towards condo owners, past, present, and even future, I guess, condo buyers?
Less so condo buyers if they haven't, already been
maybe
part of one.
Maybe new construction.
Yeah, possibly, I guess.
That's
that's right.
Yeah.
But ideally, people who have, lived in condos, for a while or been on boards. And, we'd love to know, how you worked on the board, what it was like, and your experiences, dealing with, owners and other board members, all this kind of thing. I mean, those are, the relations between the board, the property managers, and the owner occupiers and owner investors is really of key interest, I think. And of course, as I mentioned, I think at the outset, we also would want to try to speak with, some property managers and find out what they do, and, other service providers like concierges and so on.
Mm-hmm. Actually, that's funny. Concierges, I don't think anybody has approached concierges yet. That's a really, that's a good, because you know what? Generally in any building, it's the concierge that seems to know everything that's going on all the time.
Well, it's interesting you mentioned that, because Dr. Lowe in New York brought a book to my attention. It's called Doormen. And in fact, it is a study of, doormen or concierges, and it makes that very argument that really, if you want to find out, what goes on in a building in terms of governance and, some things in some cases you don't want to know about, talk to the doorman or the concierge, right? So that's very true. Yeah.
Yeah, no, good point. Absolutely great point, actually. So I think that, we're definitely at the Condo Owners Association, we're going to be completing a full page where people can literally go in. We'll have an overview of what you're doing. We can work together on putting that page together.
Well, that's terrific.
And then it'll have a link and an email source so that they can literally just link it. It'll go over to you. You'll get the emails and so on. So, certainly working together, because the whole idea behind all of this is just to create awareness, obtain information, and make it better.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
I mean, that's it simple.
Yeah.
Yeah. And again, it's just so important. Well, you're listening to Linda Pinizzotto of The Condo Expert. We'll be right back.